Hi everyone, it's Dr. Kelly, your holistic health nurse practitioner, part of Discovery Health. And tonight I want to thank you for being here, of course. Remember to like the videos and please share the videos. We're going to talk about a very much needed ingredient, electrolyte mineral in your body that So we're going to get into magnesium a little bit because it's so very, very important to your body. And when I bring you videos, I'm trying to help. I'm trying to show you some things that you can do because I'm all about you taking charge of your health and helping you to achieve the goals that you want to. And so magnesium does wonderful things in your body, and I'm going to break that down. But if you like what I'm talking to you about tonight, if you like how I present this material, please join me live next week, Monday. Next week, Monday, I'm going to be at the De Pere Library talking about how you can get healthy. I've got an hour-long presentation that, I cram in a whole bunch of great information, lots of tips, help you to understand what do you need to do to start being healthy, to start to change so your symptoms can change, to get rid of symptoms. And I'm going to give you some opportunities at that talk as well. So please come, please register, and please bring a friend with you, okay? So I'm really excited for these live talks because they've been turning out great. Lots of people come, great questions. I give out tons of information, and I'm all about helping you, okay? So tonight about magnesium, why? Why do we need to talk about magnesium? So the first thing you have to understand is that there are chemical processes in your body that are going on 24/7, all the time. Magnesium is involved in about 700 or 800 of them. Okay, now just with that concept, think about that. It's needed in so many cells for so many chemical reactions. If your body's not functioning well, if it doesn't have the ingredients that it needs, you get symptoms. How many of your symptoms are actually related to being deficient in magnesium? Research has shown that actually 70 to 80% of people are deficient in magnesium. And part of the problem with that is there isn't a great way to test magnesium. When you get a serum magnesium level drawn, when they just draw your blood and say, oh, your magnesium level is this, it's actually less than 1% of the total magnesium in your body. Testing magnesium in your blood doesn't show the full picture. Getting less than 1% because the magnesium is in your cells. It's in your bones. It's in your tissues. That's where it works. So just doing a check in your blood, oh, you're fine, does not mean that you are fine. It's very inaccurate and it's not a good reflection. A little bit better way to test, although not perfect either, is an RBC magnesium, meaning let's grab the red blood cells. How much magnesium is in your red blood cells right now? That gives us a bigger picture, about 40% of how good is your magnesium level. So that gives you an idea, but still not perfect, okay? So 70 to 80% of people are deficient. Wow. And it's used in so many different chemical processes, enzyme processes. If you're deficient at all, even a little bit, it's going to affect you. It's going to affect how your cells make energy. How many of you feel tired? How many of you have the biggest complaint? Oh, I can't wake up in the morning. Oh, I can't keep going without caffeine. Oh, it's the afternoon. I just ate. I want a nap. I want a nap. I get home and I sit on the couch. If I sit on the couch, you're out. How much of that is related to a magnesium deficiency? Probably a lot, because magnesium is used inside the cell. The mitochondria that make ATP, that go through that Krebs cycle that some of you remember from biology class in high school, that's where we make energy. Every cell is responsible for making energy, And if it doesn't have the ingredients that it needs, it can't make energy. And it results in, I feel tired all the time. Now, I'm going to go through a lot of other things, all of the diseases, the chronic illnesses that are related to magnesium deficiency. And I want you to know that I have some great sources for you to start replacing your magnesium. 2 products that I prefer. A lot of you know who have worked with me, a lot of you who follow me have been a patient of mine at some point. Natural Calm is something that I get most people on. Not everyone, not 100%, but Natural Calm is a powdered form of magnesium. It's magnesium citrate. It's a start at increasing your magnesium, at repleting your magnesium. Because think about it, if this is the 8 ball, how far behind the 8 ball are you? So we might come up a little bit, we got to come up a little bit, and sometimes it takes a year or 2 for a person with their magnesium to actually get up even with that negative 8 ball. That doesn't mean they're good or optimal yet. That just means they're not so severely depleted, okay? So Natural Calm is really inexpensive. You can get it a lot of different places, and it's easy to take, right? So if you check out drkellyfelmer.com, I have Natural Calm, a link to Natural Calm on my website at the bottom of my main page. And I also have another form of magnesium there. So my 2 favorite forms of magnesium are the magnesium citrate from Natural Calm, and then the other one is called Remag, and it's a liquid magnesium. It's an ionic magnesium that is very concentrated, but very easy to take and doesn't affect the bowels like Natural Calm does. That's why I love the Natural Calm. Most of you need to poop a lot more than you do. So we get started on that GI tract, we get the bowels starting to move, and we're starting to replace magnesium. Perfect. For those of you with some chronic illnesses like high blood pressure and diabetes and cholesterol issues and obesity, I'm going to name a whole bunch more, maybe anxiety, maybe migraines, you need a lot more magnesium. And so just taking a ton of Natural Calm is going to make you poop way too much. We don't want that. I want you going great big bowel movements every single day, but we don't want you to go too much. So then Remag is an excellent source of magnesium that won't affect the bowels, but that can help you titrate up the right amount of magnesium for you. So both of those products are on my website, drkellyfelmer.com. So please go there, scroll to the bottom of the page, and you're going to see some of my recommended products. 2 sources of magnesium are there. And I want to make it easy for you. Most of us, again, 80% of people are deficient. We want to get a little bit more magnesium on board. Another thing that you probably are not aware of, great, Mike, I'm glad you just started it because you need it. And we're going to start to see some changes once we get that titrated up a little bit more. Calcium. How many of you take a calcium supplement? How many of you are so worried when I tell you to give up dairy? Oh my gosh, my bones. Oh my gosh, I'm not going to get enough calcium. I'm not going to get enough calcium. How many of you are told at your annual physical every single year, they focus on how much calcium are you getting? How much calcium are you getting? Oh gosh, yeah. Oh, you're not doing dairy. Oh, that's horrible. Oh yeah, you need more. You need more. You need to take this supplement and take that supplement, right? Well, did you know that calcium depletes your magnesium? And actually, I'm going to give you a great book at the end that is a great resource and that has hundreds and hundreds of references of research. What I'm telling you tonight is not my opinion. What I'm giving you is great information, research that's been pulled together. I'm going to reference a book that's wonderful as well to help you know and feel confident in the information that I'm giving you. And you can go look at it yourself. And then you can see the research article that proved, what I'm saying. Magnesium deficiencies are found in almost every chronic disease. Yeah, and like diabetes, I mentioned, hypertension, okay, migraines, coronary artery disease, irritable bowel, anxiety, heartburn. I've talked about heartburn a lot. How about chronic fatigue? How about depression? How about migraines? How about heart palpitations? How about muscle spasms? The darn restless leg syndrome. Okay, people, all of you with restless legs, all of you who are getting cramping and Charlie horses. Okay, so I know your restless legs are not Charlie horses, okay? But the two biggest reasons why you have restless legs, why your legs are achy and itchy and hurty, is because you're dehydrated, because you're drinking caffeine all the time and soda all the time. You're dehydrated, or alcohol as well. So you need more water, filtered water, drink more water, and magnesium deficiency. Okay, two top reasons. I have been telling people that for the last 15 years. Drink more water. You need more magnesium if you have restless legs, if you have cramping, if you have muscle aches and pains. It will always, always, always be helpful. And that actually helps me to circle back to calcium. So calcium, 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 calcium is pushed and pushed and pushed, yet calcium depletes your magnesium. They're actually antagonistic of each other, so we need them both. Okay, I am not saying you don't need calcium, but I'm saying that what happens is people get focused on one thing and then it's at the detriment of something else. So it's important to understand the relationship between magnesium and calcium. We need them both in your body, but if you get an excess of one, it causes a problem for the other one. So you could be pushing the calcium and giving yourself your restless legs, your muscle spasms, your Charlie horses, your cramp in the toe, your achy legs. Maybe after exercise, that lactic acid buildup because you're deficient in magnesium because you keep pushing all of the calcium. In years past, magnesium and calcium were about 1-to-1. And now, because there's such a push and fear of calcium not being high enough and people having weak bones, it's completely out of proportion. And we need to get back to having much more magnesium and stop overloading the calcium, because get this little caveat. You can drown yourself in calcium all you want, but if you don't have magnesium and vitamin D and vitamin K2, guess what? It doesn't go to your bones. You don't absorb it, and it doesn't go in your bones. Now, for all of you who have been recommended to go on Fosamax or some other osteoporotic medication, you are going to be much better working on those 4 things that I just mentioned: calcium, vitamin D, magnesium, and K2. Then you're going to get much further ahead with your bone strength and density and actually getting calcium where it needs to go than you are with ever taking Fosamax. Fosamax causes a problem in the esophagus. A lot of people choke on it. It gets stuck in the esophagus. And the research on it shows that it does not make a bone more dense. Yeah. If you were told to have it, you challenge your physician on the data that shows it does build some osteoclasts, but it does not make the bones more dense. And it's really high risk to be taking that medication. So you've got to understand how these things work together. And the calcium issue is such a big issue. Who's ever had a heart calcium score test done? Think about it if you haven't. I like them. I think people should get them done. In fact, when I worked for Bellin Hospital, I was involved with creating the program there for heart calcium scoring. And that's pretty fantastic. It's a great screening tool. And what does it tell you, people? It tells you how much calcium is in the arteries in your heart. Wait a minute. There's not supposed to be calcium buildup in the arteries of my heart? Aren't I looking for plaque buildup or blockages? It can't show you that. It shows what was coronary artery disease called? What does every 80-year-old person know it as? Hardening of the arteries. Why do the arteries get hard? Because of your obesity and your diabetes and your insulin resistance and your high blood pressure. Because of calcium deposits in all of your arteries instead of in your bones. Okay? So that heart calcium score, which is a great tool, you just have to understand what the results are telling you. You don't want calcium in your heart. You want that test to come back a big fat 0, okay? But the good news is, if you come back with a lot of calcium in your heart, guess what? Mineral electrolytes is going to help you get rid of some of that calcium. Magnesium. That's pretty cool. If you don't have the right combination of all of those ingredients, the calcium goes to tissues. It goes to your arteries. It goes to your brain. Who's had kidney stones? What are most kidney stones made out of? Calcium. Blockages in your heart, in your carotid artery, in your legs, okay? Poor circulation. Oh, I have poor circulation. They're being blocked. Cholesterol's not at fault here, guys. But just as we can prove in a heart calcium score, you can find out, they quantify how much calcium is actually in your heart. That's a problem, because that means it's hard. There's been calcium deposits there, and then it's at a higher risk for rupture, for developing a blockage, for being bigger, for other things trying to attack it, because that's not supposed to be there. Okay? So calcium, stop taking an excess of calcium. And more importantly, if you feel you have to take calcium because you're not eating calcium, you're not getting it in your diet, and let me just tell you that your vegetables, eating whole foods, you're going to get solid sources of calcium. When you take fortified orange juice, you're getting like 77 components to 1 of calcium to magnesium. Way out of proportion. What did I tell you before? It was like 1 to 1 in the past. Our soil is depleted of a lot of magnesium. So most of us are going to need to take one of those sources. Again, remember, drkellyfelmer.com. I've got 2 of the best sources of magnesium on my page there, so you can see what I'm talking about. And share this information with somebody. And if you like this kind of information, tips, understanding how to navigate in this world of so much poison and toxin and toxicity that we're exposed to, how can I do better? How can I help myself out? Well, we've shifted too far on the calcium side, and we need to get more magnesium. So let me tell you a few other things. As you know, we've been talking for a while already, and there were some key concepts that I wanted to make sure that I stressed with you. So the low magnesium, absolutely tied to all of those chronic illnesses that I mentioned. No energy when you're low on magnesium or don't have magnesium, because your cells need it to make energy. But the other thing to recognize is that stress, okay, your adrenal gland needs magnesium. And the hormones that the adrenal gland makes when you are super stressed out, when a bear is chasing you, when you hate your boss, when you are under, you've got 2 plates that are overloaded full with work at work every single day, and you're stressed and stressed and stressed and stressed, guess what? You deplete your magnesium. Those hormones deplete, use up super, super fast the magnesium that you are putting in your body. So if we go back to this being the 8 ball, and how far behind the 8 ball are you? How much magnesium do we need to replete? Well, guess what? Well, I'm super stressed. Well, I started taking magnesium, but I'm super stressed, and I started to take magnesium. And you see how you're never going to reach the 8 ball? Because you're so stressed, you've got to change things in your whole world. Stress plays a huge, huge role. How many of you are suffering from depression? Yeah, did you know that, serotonin is our happy hormone that affects the brain. It's made in the gut, and we can't make it without magnesium. Okay? So magnesium plays a lot of really important roles. One other thing that I thought was super interesting is people who are following a paleo diet and all of you who are doing a ketogenic diet that is super high in protein. And maybe you're not following one of those diets strictly, but you're like, I gotta get more protein, gotta get more protein, gotta get more protein. Just like I was talking about with the calcium, you can get an excess of protein, and that's not great either. But did you know that in most of those diets, and when you're getting an excess of protein, you need more magnesium to help you break down and digest the protein that you're so worried about. So you have to make sure that you're working on that too. And when you work with a trainer or you work with a nutritionist, they don't talk about magnesium, do they? They talk about all the macros. We got to talk about your carbs, and we talk about fat, and we talk about protein. And they forget about the magnesium there. But super important, if you're increasing your protein, you better start increasing your magnesium as well. If you have migraines, absolutely, for a variety of different reasons. And where you'll find the book I was referencing, The Magnesium Miracle by, there she is, Carolyn Dean. She is a medical doctor and a naturopathic doctor. This book is full of research. It is 545 pages long of all good stuff. So she explains in here all of the detrimental effects of magnesium deficiency, all of the chronic illnesses that are affected by magnesium, and the relationships through protein and magnesium, calcium and magnesium. Magnesium is very important. So that paleo and high protein I thought was really super interesting. And migraines for a variety of reasons. That's what brought me to that book, because she gave me a couple of different reasons that prove why magnesium is so important and contributes to migraines. Magnesium, of course, is just relaxing. It helps your brain relax. It helps your muscles relax. It helps your arteries to relax. But it also helps the platelets in your blood. And the platelets are the little sticky things that if you get a cut, they clog up in your cut so you stop bleeding. Well, they can make sure that your blood doesn't get too clumpy with those platelets. So it prevents it from getting too thick from that standpoint as it deals with the platelets. The magnesium as well as B2 and B6 actually prevent migraines, and it helps to just help the head and neck muscles relax. All key things that can trigger migraines for a person. The last thing that I wanted to point out about calcium, again, that I thought was really interesting and kind of explains a little bit more than the road I was going down about the calcium in the heart. But if you took a calcium pill or a calcium capsule and you opened it up in water and watch what happens. And some of it's going to dissolve. But then if you look at the bottom of the water, you're going to see a lot of sediment at the bottom. And so calcium does not completely dissolve in water. And it doesn't completely dissolve in your blood either. So as I talked about, the vitamin D, and actually too much vitamin D causes a problem as well. So you got to have the right amount. You got to know the amount that you need. But the vitamin D, the magnesium, calcium, and K2, which tells the calcium where to go, all super important. That calcium needs those ingredients to dissolve and to get where it needs to go. So if you took that glass of water that's got all the sediment of calcium at the bottom, and now you added in magnesium, guess what happens? The calcium becomes more water soluble, it dissolves, and now it's all dissolved in that water. That's quite a visual that I want you to think about, because if you don't have magnesium and you're taking a ton of calcium, not only do you have a hard time absorbing it, it's not going to go where it needs to go because it can't get into the bones. So it's going to go to tissues and it's going to lay down in your arteries, and then you're going to have high blood pressure, and then you're going to have increased glucose and insulin resistance, and then you're going to get obese, and all these chronic illnesses that go together are because of a lack of magnesium, or can be greatly improved with more magnesium. So I hope that little bit of information was helpful. And please join me next Monday. Please register. I gave you the link in the description. I will put the link down in the comments as well. Please come with a friend, a spouse, or a relative. Please share this information. I so greatly appreciate it if you can share this type of information on your page. This is free information. The Talk Next Monday is free information, and I'll also give you opportunities to take advantage of discounts to do more if you need more. Okay, so I hope to see you on Monday. Otherwise, I will talk to you again real soon on another health topic. Have a great night.